Hello and welcome to FTB Sports. I am Sam Spurs for Life. This is the Tottenham Hotspur post-match reaction show for the game Spurs versus Crystal Palace. And this is sponsored by Ultra Bright and Colgate and all them other tooth products out there, as you can see, because the smile is here and I'm smiling. And I'm going to just do that for one more second or two. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to FTB Sports again. I'm joined by Mike and I'm joined by Darius 3K. How are you doing, gentlemen?
You're kidding me this evening.
That's all good. That's
nice.
what it's supposed to be. Because I know we were going to have a lot of haters on here. Had we lost, there was plenty of people waiting for us. And they're not waiting anymore. So, therefore, we can smile. Let's just do one of them in the cameras again.
I'm buzzing. I'm going to sip my drink.
Oh, damn.
This is funny. This is quite funny. Okay, let's get into the show properly. And relax. I'm going to take a little sip of water before we get into this. Or even the water tastes nice tonight, lads. Even the water tastes nice.
Buzzing.
Dab my brow a little bit as well. And we're ready to go.
You're kidding me. Absolutely kidding
Welcome,
me.
anybody. Sorry about that. It's a bit unprofessional, I know. Welcome to FTB Sports. This is the post-match reaction show. I'm joined by Darius and I'm joined by Mike. And we are, as you can see, quite happy Spurs fans. Score 4-1. 3 games on the bounce now in the league. So that's one thing to be said. Who should we come to first? Who wants to start off first? What did you think of today's game, lads? What was the I guess the crowning glory, seeing Bale scoring 2, Kane scoring 2, Kane with 2 assists. It's all good. It's all good. Mike, take us away. What's your thoughts?
Where do I start? I from the kickoff, I thought we were bang on it this evening. We played well, started brightly. The front three of Son, Kane and Bale, they looked on it this evening. They looked like they were hungry for goals. And yeah, they came up with the goods. I thought we might have scored a few. I thought we might have scored a couple more. I thought we were going to get maybe. Well, if we took the chances, maybe 5 or even 6. But in terms of performance, it was just an all-round great performance. Yeah, and I'm smiling. So, and you ain't no one's taking that smile off my face this evening.
None of the I'm not even looked at the comments yet, but none of them comments are going to dampen my spirits. As I said, I've not even got alcohol tonight. What I've even done is I've just got water. That's how great it's been. There's no alcohol in sight. It's just water. Just check
Pure
again.
bliss.
That's how we're doing tonight. You know what I mean? So, Darius, do you want to continue how you thought the game went?
I mean, I'm normally probably coming with the negatives. Even if we win 4-0 or 4-1, I'm always trying to look for things we can improve on. But for me, like, I don't really see the point in saying anything negative about that performance, because it was just a great performance overall. I mean, everybody performed well and to a very high standard. And you know what it is for me? It's the fact that everybody's coming into form at the perfect time. And it's like, if we can continue this on, we should be confident going into every match. Even that City match, we should be going confident. Because look at them today. Like, I know that Man United did make their life hard, but City looked like they were beatable again. And if that is the case, and we want to bring it to them with the players that we've got, who says we can't? I think that we've got just as good a squad as Man United, or just as good a starting 11 as Man United. So I think that it's if we can play like this, it's there for anything now. It's just down to us. And I said in the preview that it was down to Spurs. It's not going to be Crystal Palace. It's going to win this game. It's going to be us. It's going to give them the game. And we didn't do that. Everybody played well. Nobody really made any mistakes. You could probably say for their goal, Sanchez drifted past the line a little bit. But again, it's 4-1. It's a great header from Benteke. You not going to expect everybody to be perfect. So I have nothing to say. I just have to say about Kane and Bale and Son and Lucas and everyone is just continue this on, please, because next week is where you really need to perform. We won 4-1, great. Kane 2 goals, 2 assists, Bale 2 goals, great. But next week is where it really matters. It won't mean anything if next week we don't perform well.
I just love when people talk about Bale and like Bale's finished, Bale's past it, and yet
I was one of them. I'll happily admit I was one of them.
He is back.
I think you was probably out of us three here was the one who was definitely saying we got to give him time.
Give him time.
I was like, I'm not sure if he's, but you was
time. That's what I said.
You need to give him time, and you were right.
And it's the old age thing of class is permanent, form is temporary, and Bale is showing it. Bale was showing it. The guy's he's oozing gravy. He's just all over it.
I think it's because he's starting to dictate the game as well now. It's not like he's. I thought when Bale joined, he would probably be one of those players where he'd be an impact. He'd score a worldie. He'd come and maybe get a shot, free kick, and change the game like that, but not necessarily dictate and control the pace of the game. Everything was going through Bale in the first half, particularly in the first half. He was the fulcrum of our attacks. He was pinging balls left and right, switching the ball to Doherty, putting balls in the box. He was the guy that was doing that. Lucas was bringing the ball forward and carrying the ball, but in the final third, Bale was the man. He was everywhere today. Can't fault him.
And even if you just mentioned his name there, Doherty's starting to show form, lads. I know he's not everyone's favourite player, but the last couple of games he's getting better.
He's getting better. I will agree with you on that.
Confidence and momentum it is massive in any standard of football. If you've got confidence and you've got momentum and you're getting game time, you will get better. Especially, if you're a good player, you just need the minutes, get the confidence.
I think he just needs an arm around his shoulder, to be honest. I just think he needs
half the players do though. Yeah. Like you look at Sanchez, we were writing Sanchez off like 5, 6, 7 games ago. We were like, nah, get Sanchez out.
Completely done.
But the last 3, 4
games? I say 3 games. I say 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
He's been all right, and I'm happy to be proven wrong about any Spurs player.
Definitely coincided with him having that partnership with Alderweireld, because they've started 3 matches in a row, and we've conceded 1 goal in that time in those games.
Yeah.
It's no coincidence. For me, it's a combination of, as you said, players coming into form now. Yeah. Gareth Bale, I think I mentioned it in the preview shows and other shows as well, that even if we have one of those players playing well in terms of that front 4, 3, whatever you want to call it, then we're likely to have a very good game. When you've got 2 of them playing, like I said, Bale today and Kane today, it's almost unstoppable in terms of the goal threat. And all we need to do is be able to keep decent defensive performances. Now, obviously, the goal came at a bad time. I was going to say, I would have gone into that half-time thinking, that's a great first half for us. We dealt with their threat. But then you kind of go in 1-1, you're thinking, oh, bloody hell, we should never concede there. But as a bit of a blessing in disguise, what it meant was, and I was saying this to Darius, it meant that we had to then come out again and do the same thing from the start, as opposed to how we've maybe been a bit more passive in the second half when we're leading. It was a case of like, let's go out there and get the second goal and then get 2 goals within the space of the time that we did. Yeah. That kind of sealed it for me. And as you said, the players that we want to play well, or we wanting to show us the qualities that we know they've got. Gareth Bale, as I said, I was a bit critical of Kane over the last few games, but he's obviously come back to the party today. So do you know what I'm saying? It's really good to see. And it's happy days indeed. Happy days.
It was pleasing to see Kane get on the score sheet today. I think he needed a couple of goals. He looked like he was up for it today, whereas in that Fulham game, he looked knackered. I don't know if that's just because the second half, it may have just taken it out of him because of just the work rate that he'd put in. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't play him on Thursday. I'd save him for that North London derby.
Definitely,
let him run.
Definitely.
And same with Bale and Son. I'd be tempted just to say, look, guys, I'm gonna save you for Thursday's game, and I'm gonna let you run right against those.
Whilst we're talking about lineups, let's have a look at the lineup from today, because this is what it was. Obviously, we had Lloris in goal. We had Doty, Sanchez, Alderweireld at the back with Reguilon on left. Winks and Højbjerg, that was a bit of a surprise to me in terms of that midfield too. I was thinking more Sissoko would be the person to start alongside Højbjerg, but Winks was given the nod. And I think probably because Winks is probably a little bit more forward-thinking than Sissoko, although not much more than that. But Bale, Moura, Son, Kane. I think Moura, if they didn't give the man of the match to Bale or Kane, should have definitely gone to Moura. I thought he was absolutely excellent today. He did everything that's required of a player in that sort of position. He got the ball. He was on the half turn. He drove at players. He drove at their defense, carried the ball 20, 30 yards at times, and they had trouble stopping him. And obviously with Kane, Bale, and Son in the team, you know, playing as the way they did, you're always going to be in a game, and you're always going to be favourites to outscore the opposition. And that starting 11, fair play to Jose. He made a couple of changes in there, but didn't distract from the goals. And
they in hindsight, they were the right changes to make as well. I mean, it's proved it today. So I think it was, again, Mourinho's great at managing players and managing fitnesses, injuries, etc. And Ndombele being rested, Winks coming in. Winks had a good game as well, to be fair to him. I wouldn't say we missed Ndombele tonight. Well, the scoreline suggests we didn't.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's actually funny you say that. Sorry to interrupt you, Mike, but I was just going to say, I think that was a case only because Lucas played in that 10, and the ball carrying and the bringing the ball forward and bringing the team forward came through him today. So it kind of allowed Winks to play his game, where he doesn't necessarily take risks. He will keep the ball ticking and he will keep the ball moving. But Lucas was that one who had to bring the ball forward today, and he really did that well. And that's why he was the third best player for me.
Which is what you need though in a team. You can't have 6 or 7 players that are all the same or that have the same sort of style. So Winks being in there, just not taking any risks, he's basically a possession player, isn't he? He just likes to keep possession, like you say, not taking any risks. And yeah, like you said, Moura, again, it all boils down to confidence, getting the minutes, getting games, getting momentum. Moura was excellent, like you mentioned.
I really enjoyed his performance. Yeah.
He just looks confident, doesn't he?
I think it's that's the word that I think is the buzzword to be used. It's confidence now. With these players, they do look so much more confident. And in the short space of time that we come from those poor results that we had, and it looked like the team didn't really want to play. We was having mistakes by players that don't usually make mistakes. Højbjerg being one of them. You know, they all look like they're fatigued. I think we mentioned that before. It looked like they were just tired. It was like a one game too many. And all of a sudden, you get 1 or 2 players coming back to really good form, and that spreads through the whole team. And now it's a case of like it is competition for places now, because everybody's seeing right. So Gareth Bale's playing well, so Lamela has to come and think, well, if he comes off, I'm going to have to do something to at least show that I'm still in the picture. And anybody now that comes in, Vinicius, whoever starts on Thursday, they have to now perform, because they're not going to get other opportunities. They're not going to get much more, because we're now getting into the business end of the season, and we are going to need our strongest 11 out each time.
And they will know that. They will 100% know that. They've all come into form in a really good time.
Darius, I was going to say, who did you think was a standout performance today, apart from the obvious?
Apart from the obvious, so like I said, you probably say that Kane, your Bales, and your Moura was probably your best players. For me, the underrated performance today, Son. I will definitely say that Son was pure energy the whole game. Kept his performance to a level and didn't really drop. Højbjerg was unbelievable again, but at this point, I expect that from him, and that's kind of, it can go part ways. If Højbjerg doesn't have an amazing game, it's kind of like, has he had a bad game? No, it's just because he constantly has amazing games. If he drops his level even slightly, we kind of want to comment on that. So Højbjerg again, like normal, great performance, and Sanchez as well. Sanchez had a great game. He was solid, and you know what it is for me with Sanchez now is I'm kind of not worrying every time the ball goes near him. He's kind of seeming to be a bit more confident and a bit less rash with his decision making. He's not seeming to veer. He does obviously still veer into midfield and go into positions that he doesn't need to, but he's doing it a lot less. And I think we both and all have agreed that it does come with the fact that he's got Toby Alderweireld next to him, and when you've got an experienced centre back like that, I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the ear of Sanchez saying, "You better not go there," or "Don't you go out there," or "You stay in this position." So I think that helps him, and I think if you continue to play them consistently as a centre-back partnership for, let's say, the rest of the season, it will hopefully, and again, we don't want to mock the integrity and the intelligence of these players, but if you do that consistently, hopefully that will kind of instill in his brain, and he kind of will understand that's a common thing, and that's the normal thing you have to do as a centre-back, is kind of be switched on all the time. And it might, Alderweireld's experience and his intelligence might drip down, and it might go to Sanchez, and he might be able to develop some of those skills. So I just think it's great to see that all these players are performing. It's one of those. It's the fact that this top 4 race is really on now, and we've got 12 games left. No, 11 games left. We played 27. We've got 11 games left, and then we've got the Europa League. And I think our last game is Leicester as well. So it's not like like we're going to get any opportunity to really give these players a chance to get into the team. You've got to get your position in a team, and you've got to prove it when you've been given an opportunity. And if you don't prove it when you've been given that opportunity, you can't really complain if you're not starting the next game, because it's one of those.
Yeah, see that we're already 2 points off now, aren't we? From 4th,
2 points off Chelsea, and we both played the same amount of games. Everton have played 1 less and are above us. They're in 5th, aren't they? So
I'd just like to say a quick shout out, just in case the stream's a little bit unstable. Sure, I have a few connection problems, but hopefully it should improve as we go along. But at the moment, it's a little bit unstable. Yeah, it's going all right. But I'll just before we get to the comments, because we've got quite a lot of comments coming through, I just want to get to the match stats, and here they are. So we had good possession, and that's what I expected. I didn't expect anything less. Palace with their low block. To be fair with Palace, they did try and press a little bit. They got the first goal from it. But 12 shots to 5 on target to 1 for them. So their only shot on target resulted in a goal. Surprisingly, only 1 corner to us, 5 to them, 8 fouls and 17. So again, in terms of stats, it depends on how you look at stats, really. But the shots is what I'm looking at. You know, it's dominant. It's a clinical performance. 4 goals from 5 shots on target. You know, that's what you expect from the players that we've got in them front positions, the Sons, Bales, Kanes, who are, you know, top draw. And I would use the word world-class performers. You know, that's what you expect to see. And the goals that both Kane and Bale scored today, you know, taken very well. Kane's first goal, world-class. World class.
That goal I've already think that goal was like, people aren't really deep in how good that goal was. Like the fact that he took that first time, put it far corner past the keeper. I think that goal's absolutely ridiculous.
World class.
Ridiculous.
And then Bale, obviously, you know, popping up in the right areas. You know, he's now, I hate to say it, it's not hate to say because that's wrong. You know, he's looking like the player that we expected to see at the beginning of when he first came. And I think, as you were saying, Mike, it took time. It's maybe the fitness, maybe his confidence wasn't there. Maybe there's a number of things settling back in, life back in England again. You know, there's a whole host of things.
Settling back in the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly. Settling back in.
It's no easy. The English football is no easy sort of league to come back and hit the ground running. I don't think there's many players that hit the ground running in the Premier League. They all take time to adjust. I mean, the pace of the football's just straight away is
it's definitely.
And I was just going to say, do you think that he kind of, obviously we don't know Bale personally, but do you think he kind of thought that he might not necessarily be as good as he might be for Tottenham because of the Premier League and because of his age? Do you think that he maybe thought, I'm not here to maybe be the main man, or do you think that his intention was, when he joined on loan, was to be the main man and to try and be a starting player? Because for me, it looked like Bale didn't really mind being a bit part squad player, but now it looks like he doesn't want to not play, and that's the difference for me.
I think any player of that caliber, and he's only 31, so he's not finished by a long shot. I think any player of that caliber, they know once they need to just get fit. That's what it is. As long as they get fit, they can then stand a fighting chance. And I don't think Bale thought for 1 minute that he was done. Otherwise, he wouldn't have taken this move back to.
And he hadn't played for 2 years. He hadn't played for 2 years. I think that's what people do forget. Over those 2 years where he was at Madrid for those last 2 years, he barely played. And a guy who barely plays and also has injury issues and known injury issues. Being that it's going to be difficult for him to find full fitness. Like I said, I don't really care now. I look back in hindsight, I don't really care that he took him that long, as long as he's providing something and provides something for when you look back at the end of the season. Like we said, it's a cliche, but it's the season's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So at the end of the day, if he scores, he's on 5 goals now. I think he scored in the Premier League. If he bags another 5 goals in the Premier League and he scores 10 and it helps us get to the top 4, I couldn't care if he didn't score any goals at the start of the season. He's contributed. So
yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, there's obviously, don't forget the Europa. It's just, I think what it is now with some of these players is Mourinho's just got to manage them correctly, manage them so they don't pick up injuries. Like Toby, for me, is probably the player that I would be concerned about.
Very, very key in that central area.
He's massively key for us defensively. And I don't want to see him play Thursday. I'd say Sanchez, as long as Sanchez and Dyer's fit, I'd be like, you two, the centre backs for Thursday. Just get the
If I'm honest with you, I don't want to see Bale. I don't want to see Kane. I don't want to see Son. I don't want to see Ndombele, although he was rested today, so he may appear. I don't want to see Højbjerg. But then if you start taking 5 or 6 players out of that team, it's going to be a bit of a disruption. But I still think, and this is looking forward, obviously we're just trying to deal with this game. Looking forward, I still think now that the confidence is there, it's competition now. So players who want to play their way into Jose's thinking in terms of the latter stages of this competition being the Prem and also the Europa need to perform. So maybe that's one of the reasons why Doherty is improved. The bigger thing is I think they've cut down on the mistakes. Both Sanchez, Doherty, probably not so much Alderweireld, but even Lloris, he's not really made any mistakes. I know he wasn't really under pressure a lot today, but it's the mistakes that were killing us.
Definitely,
they were really killing us. We've got quite a few comments here, so we're going to start from here with Hamza. Good evening, Hamza. Sam's favourite player, Sanchez, with another good performance. Yes, I agree, Hamza. He was good today. I'm not going to take away from number 6. We've got Zach. Yes, Forbes. Yes, boy. Bale in fire. Skidding and winning. Love you guys. We gave you the format how to win the League Cup. That's right. And we're going to do that. Thank you very much. We are going to do that. Like, subscribe, share, as you know, as always. Don P, what's Don saying to us? Bale gate crashing the Son and Kane partnership. He's adding to it, Don. He's adding to that partnership. So now we've got a trio up front.
Trifecta, innit?
Trifecta. I like that. Trifecta. Whatever the words are that come out, they're all sounding great tonight. Zach, again, it's always hard to break a Hodgson team down. You guys are fantastic, creating chances and looking good. Big up. Thank you very much. Here we go. I knew there was always going to be one. Adam Morris, up to 7th, boys.
No,
up to 6, mate. Up to 6. Let's celebrate 6.
He has some facts.
Do you know what? I was expecting there was always going to be some troll there somewhere.
He's buzzing. He's buzzing. Can you blame flipping?
Nah, I can't blame him.
21 win streak. Let him have it.
It's true.
As long as he's not an Arsenal fan, it's fine.
It's true. We'll let you off on this one, Adam. But you're a troll. Mr. B, the Bale effect. Thank you, Mr. B. Good show earlier, guys. Like that. I can see your show was also sponsored by Colgate, the way you lot was smiling. Zach, again, didn't see the whole game. Where was Bale playing and where is he most effective? Well, Bale's position is a really good one for me because he's playing from that right-hand side, but he's not just out on that right-hand side. There was times when he was hugging that touchline. There was times when he popped up in the middle. There was times he was spraying balls across field. So, and the most important thing for me was I was seeing him get back into defensive shape. That was, for me, the last few games has been the main factor why I think they've now said, right, he's back to full fitness because he's not just doing the things going forward. He's getting back in defending in his own box, winning headers, strength is there, getting past players. They're all almost like detailing now. So when he does get the ball, 2 players are almost going out to him, which is really good signs. So, where did you think there was? Did you think Bale's most effective on the right, or is he? Do you think we get more out of him more centrally? I think what he's doing at the moment is great. I don't think
he has a position personally. I just don't think he has a position. I think Mourinho kind of will allow him to do what he wants more going forward if he does the stuff going back, like you said. And because he's doing that, kind of Mourinho, I don't think he's going to be that fussed about what Bale does because, like we said, Bale is just quality. And quality alone, if you're that good as a player, you can be warranted to do what you want as long as you produce results. And right now, he's producing results. So
it's funny that because I mean he did come in, he did sort of like hug that touchline, and he did come in central quite a bit today. Yeah. But did you notice Kane dropped relatively deep? He was almost playing in a number 10 role.
You said that.
he
I was saying
was.
that earlier. He was like in midfield at times.
And I just wonder if that's because he was either, well, the centre backs of Crystal Palace were keeping tight with him and sort of nullifying him, or whether he thought that is what they would do, so he just tried to change it up and make them second guess, because there was a little few things that were happening today which I say it's unusual from Spurs' point of view, and I don't think Crystal Palace had an answer to it. I think that it puzzled them.
And I think, you know what it is for me is when is the systems that teams adopt. So Palace being a very much a standard 4-4-2 operator. Now they've always talked about 4-4-2 being just three banks, three lines, your back four, your midfield four, and then your front two, and no triangles in there. So what Kane was able to do is get in between lines. Now I know that they were deep in their lines, but he was almost able to find that space in midfield, which then allowed Moura to then go a little bit higher up. So they kept on swapping in tandem. Sometimes you'd see Kane on the shoulder, other times Moura would be on the shoulder. But like I said, it was the interchanging. Like that front four were very much interchanging, and it's always difficult to pick a player up if you don't know where he's going to be at any one time. A lot of the time when you see City play, when they've got the ball, you know that Sterling's going to be very, very much wide left, or Foden's very much going to be wide right, Mahrez, whoever plays there. These guys were very much right. Oh, he's now wide right. All right, he's now central. So it's very fluid, and I like that about them. And because they're quality, they can do a lot with the ball, and they don't give it away. And that's the difference. When you've got quality players on the ball, they can make things happen in that final third. So
I do credit Jose. I credit Jose for this win though, because I think that the approach that we took in the first game wasn't the right approach to take. Whereas we kind of defended and let Palace put us under pressure. Jose knew that Palace were going to defend, and Palace didn't help themselves either, because I don't even think when we took the lead they really wanted to come out and score or even try and get a goal back. So it kind of allowed us. I think once Jose saw that and thought these guys aren't really attacking, I think he said, you know what, let's go for it again. And what he did that I noticed a lot was he was really trying to make those players switch the ball as much as possible. The ball was going from left to right a lot, and it was really helping. I think the quality of the ball could have been better in crossing wise, but then again, I look at it and think Palace have got two banks of four almost in their box. It's going to be difficult to kind of play a ball in the box and accurately hit our players. So I think the balls in the box and the switches were the reason why they were getting broken apart. But it was Lucas for me who was creating the most dangerous chance with the running. It was when you've got a team like Palace who have got, like you said, you've got the three banks, the 2 4s and the 2. And you can find space in between, but it's also difficult to find space in between. You have to work and operate quite quickly in these kind of games, because Palace won't give you the time to take 3 touches and then look for a pass. When you're in that space, Kane had to look up and play a pass. And because Kane's got quality and he can play a pass in 2 touches, a world-class pass in 2 touches, he still was able to have a good game. Lucas, however, was the person who was kind of bringing it to Palace in terms of dribbling through those lines. And that's what I think was the best way of attacking Palace. We could switch the play and that was working, but at the end of the day, when we were switching the play, the balls in the box weren't really going anywhere. It was Lucas really bringing it to the midfielders and defense and driving at them, and then obviously it created space. If you want to come and tackle Lucas, Bale's going to stay out wide, Son's going to stay out wide, and those defenders are going to have to make a choice. Are they going to press Lucas, or are they going to go out and watch Son and Bale? So I think it was Lucas who was really, really pivotal in that.
Yeah, and he's just relentless, isn't he? And what he does,
Yeah,
he just
engine, man.
I was going to say, he just goes on and on. I mean, you're not going to. The back four just didn't get a respite, really.
Even at the end, he put that ball across the box, didn't he? At the end of in like the 90th minute, I was thinking, this guy's still going. He's really proven that he's an asset, and he's got a role in this squad. And I think that's what I've noticed now. Jose this kind of specific roles, and it's worrying. It's worrying partly because when we do lose important players, we can see that the system kind of breaks down, and then Ndombele, when he's not in the team, we kind of can't progress the ball as well going forward. But then obviously he compensated with Lucas. But Lucas is now giving himself a role in the team where he could be that ball carrier. He can be that kind of what Lamela does, where Lamela does what Lucas does off the bench and continues that intensity and brings that energy that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It floats throughout the whole of the team. And when Lucas does it, everybody else kind of is expected to kind of bring that same energy that Lucas brings, and it radiates through the team. That's the word I'm looking for.
More you should do that in the Potter as well. But what I think, and this is where I have to give credit for Jose, he's improved that little bit, because when he was, and we've seen it earlier in the season, he would run in, and we've talked about it, he'd run with the ball, but then he'd run into alleys of like, what are you going to do now? What he's now doing, he's running with the ball into areas which is like making them have to commit fouls on him. So when he's central and he's running direct, they commit a foul centrally. So they're in a dangerous position. When he's running in the wide areas, he's trying to cut in from that right-hand side to go towards the box, which means he's always looking to either get into the box or make a cross. So he's getting into danger. He's not just running towards a corner flag or just running across the pitch. He's running into better areas, which is going to make it more effective. If he gets fouled, he gets fouled. Or if they don't foul him because they think we can't touch him, he's then breaking into areas of the pitch, which is dangerous. And that's what I think the difference is. So maybe that's a bit of coaching. Maybe someone tells them, look, if you are going to do that because you're really good at progressing the ball, this is where you can hurt the opposition. So yeah,
if you're not got an end product, then yeah, you're right in what you're saying. He was being fouled in and around the 18-yard box. He wasn't running past that 18-yard box, and we were getting free. Yeah, I know what you mean by saying that. I didn't notice that. No, but yeah, he's definitely improved somehow, and long may it continue, because, like I said, it just means that we've got more options.
A lot of the players have improved under Mourinho, and I think they've improved from a tactical perspective. Like you look at Aurier, he's improved massively under Mourinho, for example. So yeah, it's what can you say, really? It's all good stuff, isn't it?
Let's get Mike into these comments here. So 24, what a stream. Thank you. That's you're talking about us being on the stream. That's really good. Don P. Jose said the same thing. It was good goal to concede because it made us come out with the right attitude. And yeah, I think that's definitely it. I think if we go in winning only by a goal, I think that it puts us in that, do we go for it? Do we not? Do we try and play defensive? Do we not? I think that made the decision for us. It meant that we had to come out because we know we have to win all games now. Jose said that every game we take it on its merit, we have to just go out and try and win. And today was about winning, but we won in style. We won in style. Mr. B, good to see all you hands of teeth grinning. Yes, we're grinning teeth because we're very happy. Marlon Basham here. Bale is key. Nobody was helping Kane and Son. Bale has created another problem for teams. Very, very true.
That's so true as well. That might actually make Kane and Son play better, which is kind of scary to think about, because players are now, and teams have got to think about, who should we mark? Should we mark Bale? Should we prioritize Kane? It's I'm so happy. I'm actually so happy. I can't complain.
And it's difficult to sort of mark or deal with three arguably world-class players.
Let's not get it twisted. They are three world-class players.
Yeah.
Very true.
Simple as that. And
Don P here. Go on, sorry. Before I read the comment.
No. I was just going to say, how do you deal with them? It's difficult, isn't
it? With great difficulty. Yeah. Don P, we have to play a strong team on Thursday. It's our chance to win a trophy. Well, this is the thing, Don, because I think we've talked about it. If we go really strong and we, it's a close game or whatever, we still got to play the game on Sunday, because the Europa is 2 legs. I think we've all mentioned this before. I don't believe over 2 legs Zagreb are better than us. In a one-off game, anybody can win a one-off game. I really, truly believe that we could go into this first game, even if it's 0-0, and the second leg, we can still win the second leg. If we win the first leg, I think that should be the game dealt with. But, and this is the but, we've got them lot on Sunday. Them lot. And I'll shout out again to our FTB Arsenal lot. We are looking forward to the preview show and the reaction show with you guys next week. That's if you want to come on. That was just a bit of a plug there. But no, seriously, we have to balance these next couple of games, because, as I said, because it's very important to keep the momentum going in the league. Just looking at the table now, we're up to 6. We're above West Ham. We're above Liverpool. We're above Aston Villa. We've got a game in hand over Liverpool. We've got the same games as Chelsea, but a game in hand over Leicester and Man United. Leicester being on 53. They're probably a little bit far gone, but Chelsea are definitely within reach. 100% within reach. Yeah.
It's difficult, though, because I just looked, we play Aston Villa after the second Zagreb game as well. So these next few weeks, I'm telling you, man, it's going to be, this March is going to be our biggest month, easily our biggest month of this season.
And again, it's how Mourinho manages. How does it, if he manages us, like the team, correctly? I think we'll be in for a good month.
Like I said, if we have to sacrifice a game this season, or this month, should I say, it will have to be, for me, the Zagreb game coming up, because beating Zagreb over 2 legs should be a given with the team that we've got. Beating Arsenal is a priority for me under any circumstances, whatever the situation, and given the situation even more now, because we've got an opportunity to to finish in the top 4. And then
Just keep-
Aston Villa is as well. It's going to be a massive game because they're fighting for the same thing we are. So to be really honest with ourselves, we've got big games, and it's one of those where it's like, if we have to, because we're not going to be able to play our best team every single week, if we have to kind of not even make a sacrifice but play a weaker team, which game are you going to choose? And I probably would choose the Zagreb game coming up.
Listen, we're 7 points clear of Arsenal now, having played 27 games each. Even if we don't win and it's a draw, keeps at 7 points with then 10 games to go. So I would hope that our momentum, our form has seen us turn a corner, and let's say we were to win against them, 10 points, they're not going to get us with 10 points with 10 games to go. I know that. However, if they win and it's 4 points, different matter. So again, it's very key and I know we shouldn't be just looking at Arsenal as being a team that we just have to be above. We should be looking to win every single game. But it's now the confidence going into the rest of the Premier season that I want to see. I want to see us perform like this, get the results, but also, keep an eye on the Europa round of 16 as well. We've got the players to do that, I think. Definitely got the players to do that.
100%.
A few more comments here. Mr. B, can you see Mr. Levy keeping Bale next season?
I can now. Literally, like last week, I was like, nah, but I can see him doing it. And I think if he continues this, I ain't got a problem with him. Like I said, I want to see this a little bit more. I understand that he's finally found his form, but I do want to see him continue this form for a little bit longer, and then I can fully say, because it is, don't forget, it's 15, if we do pay half the wages, 15 million euros a year. So it's not cheap, but
if he's performing like this,
then it's worth it.
Then it's a no-brainer, because we're not going to get another player like this for that money. So you're not going to pay someone 15 million and get him on the books to play like Bale is. So you have to look at his Bale it's 50 million pounds for Bale for this season or next season, shall we say, to give us what he's given us now. And in the last 6 games or whatever it's been, if we were to get that Gareth Bale, even for a third, 2/3 of the season next season,
it's a no-brainer. 15 million pounds, he'd make it back in shirt sales. So
100%.
So if he only play, like you say, if he's only fit or he only plays a third or 2/3 of the season, it's a no-brainer.
You get that money back.
You get your money back. I think. And he's a winner, isn't he? He's a match winner.
He's match winner in and around, and he's confident now. You can see in his body language. His body language is so telling to me, because he's just like, I'm gonna. It's almost like knows he's gonna score each and every time he gets in and around that area of the box. So, and again. No
and 15 million pounds. If he continues the way he is to next season, and for the rest of the season, and if you manage him through pre-season, etc., 50 million pounds is an absolute bargain for someone like him, even at the age of 32.
I'm sorry, Mike. I got to read this comment out here. This is from Marlon here. Have to give Jose credit. Flipping hell, knock me down with a feather.
That's how you know
this guy, this Marlon. The amount of times I've had to speak with Marlon to say, look, give him a chance. No, he's not having it. Out. He don't want him. No, now he's giving him credit. Thank you, Marlon. At least you've seen now there is some progression with Jose, and it's all about winning trophies. Like I said, if we do all of this and we don't win anything at the end of the season, it will be a bad season. Now, don't get me wrong, Jose would need to be questioned as to whether he needs to be there for next season. But we ain't got to the end of the season yet. So we have to look at the management, and having gone through the blip we've gone, you just have to look at a team like Liverpool. They're on a horrendous run. And I don't think they're getting as much heat as we were getting. Do you know what I mean?
Getting the injury.
Mourinho would be getting slaughtered. I mean, you got fans that wanted Mourinho out after like 3 or 4 defeats. It was like, what's Klopp? Klopp's having a meltdown. Liverpool were like literally what I don't even
falling. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, they are a falling giant. Well, for this season anyway. But Klopp's all right. We love him. Jeez.
Exactly.
I think we're very emotional, aren't we? Like we're reactionary, and I think now we all can see that we actually have a good team. We have to wait. I think it's patience. Let's just wait until the end of the season.
I think what we got lost in a lot of the. We're scratching our heads with some of the choice and selections. We were scratching our heads when we were playing the same type of players, when they were making the same type of mistakes week in, week out. And then Jose was still picking them players. Now, you can look at it in two ways. Was he just showing the players that he's behind them? He was going to give them opportunities, like with Sanchez, because he made some horrendous ones. I slaughtered him for some of the things he did, but we're not around day to day to know exactly what goes on behind the scenes. And I've always said that you got to know what happens from day to day in training. Jose's probably put his arm around and said, look, it doesn't matter. I know you're a good player. I know you can do this. This is your attributes. I'm going to keep playing you, and give him that confidence. If he didn't, can you imagine? We wouldn't have any defenders.
What about Rodon then? Why is he not? Why is Rodon literally been frozen out of the team then?
Could only be what's happening in training. I can only go by what happens in training.
But you also listen to Mourinho in his press conferences, and he's like, Rodon's done nothing. He's gone back.
What I mean.
He's like, he's done nothing. He doesn't have to do anything further than what he's doing. He says he's a true professional. He comes into training every day, does what I expect from him. But he then goes on to say about how it's his first season in the Premier League. And I think Mourinho, at the end of the day, regardless of what anyone thinks, Mourinho is still a top-class manager. And we have to just we have to trust his judgment on the players when it's right time for them to be sort of the shackles to be taken off. And you just got to. I mean, he's not won what he's won for being someone that's just winged it for the last 20 years, whatever it is. So you just got to just trust in him, really.
I think so. Hamza just here saying we're going to beat them. No way we lose to them. Obviously talking about Arsenal. Don P. Jose did lose it for a bit, but he changed his approach when the story starts to come about him getting sacked.
That's fair, That's fair, because we were hearing crazy rumors about Nagelsmann rumors were heating up a lot. And I was thinking, what's actually going on? Like, why are these rumors heating up? And I think that might be a little bit true. I don't think Jose will kind of crack under the media's pressure like that necessarily, but I think he did change his approach slightly, because we would have normally gone into the lead and sat off, but we haven't really been doing that against a lot of teams now. So let's see what happens.
He's always said, and he's come out in interviews and said it was never him that said that to the players. Now, whether or not that's the players not,
and Kane said that as well.
Yeah,
Kane's come out and said the manager's not told us to go in the second half and just defend a 1-0 lead. It's our mentality at the moment, which we've got to change. And why would Kane say that if it wasn't true? He just
you wouldn't expect players to come out and say that if they were saying the opposite. I wouldn't. So I kind of believe that. You know what I kind of look at it as being maybe some of the players weren't as confident in other players playing. And what I mean by that is you think, all right, we're 1-0 up. At some point, we're going to have to just really be defensive because, I can't trust. I don't know. It's just weird. Maybe we didn't have the form. But yeah, Bale wasn't on form. We only had Kane and Son, who were our main goal threat. So maybe they thought, well, we've only got one goal of in. Injuries as well. There's so many different factors which could have made for that.
100%. That's my thought process behind it. I don't think he's actually changed his approach, really. I think he's got everyone back. So the shackles have been taken off, and the players are now like just doing just playing and just doing what they can do.
Yeah, I agree.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's my thought on it.
Well, it's been a good one. I think I said it's gone by. Look at that. It's 40 odd minutes already. And I was just thinking, we were only on for about 20 minutes. So I think we should look to wrap up. I think we've got one more comment coming through. Let's just have a look and see what that's come through. And it's for, just clicked off something there. Don, he doesn't have to say it verbally. He showed his negativity through his selections and substitutions. But again, Don,
what choice did he have?
Maybe he didn't have much choices in some of the players because, like he said, now he's taken a firm stance with Dyer. He hasn't played in the last
that's surprising
3 games.
As well.
So that shows me, even though he could have played him in 1 or 2 of these games, because we thought maybe he might have played today because of Thursday and next week, he said, no, I'm going to stick with this partnership. And it has borne fruit, as they say. We've kept the clean sheets. We've lost, obviously, 1 goal today, but we still kept our attacking threat. So I'm gonna be on the side of Jose for managing the players over this period, and because the fact that we're looking at all these other teams. City lost today, 2-0 to Man United. No one saw that coming. Liverpool 6 games at home. 6 games at home. Like I said, had that been us, I don't think Jose stays. Had we lost 6 games at home.
But
It's
look,
very
Jurgen Klopp's got credit. I think that like he's won a Champions League and a Premier League, and I think that's why he's allowed to do that. I think I understand that situation, but for me, I look at the games and I understand where Don P is coming from. I think that in the moment we were very angry about the decisions being made and the same people being chosen. And I know that we can look back at it when we're winning and think in hindsight it's good, but at the end of the day, I said this way earlier on, well, not way earlier on, but around January time. I said I'm not looking at game. I'm not trying to look at this but on a game by game basis because I don't think it makes sense because our end goal and our aspirations of this season are to win a trophy. So for me, I'm going to stick by my word and say, yeah, we can be reactionary. We can make comments on each game that goes by, but I'm going to have to try and reel myself in and think this is not what I actually wanted to do. I'm looking at the season. I'm looking at the entire season, and we could go on a terrible run of form again now. But if we were to go on an awful run of form, but win the Europa League, and let's say we won the Carabao as well, we wouldn't care. So I just think we all have to reel ourselves in and think, what are we in it for again? We're in it for a trophy. We want to win a trophy. So if we wanted to see performances consistently, we probably would have kept someone like Poch. So let's look at what we want from this season.
We can still have performances. What I've always maintained is the end goal is to win trophies. That's always the case. But there are some circumstances which doesn't allow you to play the football that you want at all times. So when you don't have the likes of Gareth Bale firing like he's firing, when Kane's a little bit fatigued and you're over-reliant on a player like Ndombele, over-reliant on Son, over-reliant on Kane, and the others don't pick up the slack, and you add to that the fact that they're making mistakes, it becomes a real quandary for the manager to be able to pick a team week to week that don't have the confidence, that don't have confidence in their backline, and to maintain the results. So, you know, we have to look at the bigger picture in this. The bigger picture is, yep, we've had a bit of a slide. Had we been able to maintain that from December, we'd probably be in and around the top 2 or 3 now. But the end goal is, as I think we've all agreed, to win a trophy. If we can be as high up in the league as we can, fantastic. We're still in the hunt for 2 trophies, and we are 6th in the league and with a good chance to be 4th. We can't really be sad at that.
No, and we're showing the same sort of form that we had in the first 10 games, was it? And then that's when we started a couple of injuries and stuff started coming in, and then obviously with injuries, form dips, but 100%. Everyone's back. It's just I just see it. I think it's too much. I think it's more than a coincidence that now we've got the players all back from injury, that we've all of a sudden started finding form, grinding out results, keeping clean sheets again, and we're hitting teams for like 2, 3, 4. Whatever it is, might be 0 or 1, whatever. But too much of a coincidence. Now they're all back. We shouldn't be buzzing.
I'm buzzing because, like I said, all I wanted to see was a win today. I didn't expect this performance. I'll be honest with you. I was expecting a very not lackluster. That's the wrong word. I was expecting a grinding out type.
I was expecting a frustrating game.
I was expecting Palace to be more difficult.
I was going to say, I think we expected more from Palace. They just looked like they didn't have a clue what to do with the front 3, and they were just running around in La Land.
That goes to the fact they didn't have their best player playing from the start, which was Zaha. When he came on in the second half, he did make a difference.
Yeah, true.
He's not fit, obviously, but you could see a fully fit Zaha would have given us a lot more problems than he did today.
And he's wasting his time at Palace. He needs to get out. He's 28 years of age. Go and get yourself a move. And Eze as well. Go. Don't waste your time.
I like it. I like that Eze because he's a good player. But anyway, gentlemen, I think we're going to wrap up there. It's been a good one. Cool. We've got a number of things coming up in the week, obviously.
It's a great week, isn't it? It's a great week. I can't wait, man.
It's a good week because the shows this week, we could be some fiery episodes, shall we say. We've got a number of guests coming up potentially as well. Like, subscribe, share, comment. FTB Sports, the road to 500 subscribers. We are making sure we're on that road. And if you can, subscribe and be with a chance to win a football shirt of your choice. Hit the notification bell as well. Make sure you get all the latest news about all our videos that are coming up from all the other channels, the Man United, the Liverpools, the Arsenals, and of course, more importantly, the Spurs shows. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Just one more smile before we all go. Cheese. And that's it for now. See you all later, and take care till the next one. Take care. Bye, lads.